Plunge issue 2, Joe Hill writing with Stuart Immonen on the art. This is, they found the corpse, although it was talking last issue, and obviously the main character brings that up.
With the worms, right? Yeah. That are now mysteriously gone, and the body's been cold, so it's been there for a while. They just don't know how long.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, they kind of make a point going out here. That could be a day. It could be an hour.
Yeah, right. Like honestly, this issue like went because last issue it was mostly just teasing stuff, and then the one thing at the end. This issue had like 5 things happening.
This ramped it up so fast. Like, so sitting reading this morning, and my mother was like, "Oh, what are you reading? What's that about?" And I kind of sold it on her. She goes, "Huh? Let me know how that goes." So the fact like this concept is
yeah, so just
easily transferable to other people. Like it's real cool.
Obviously, debate what's going on here and who this guy is and other survivors, yada yada yada. Yep. But ultimately, they split up into teams where a couple of them go back to the ship and they take the corpse back with them to sort of look at it. And none of them are. I mean, there's even a joke actually how none of them are qualified to do an autopsy or anything like that. There's a guy who's got some basic first aid kind of training, but
yeah, he's a registered nurse on the ship. Right, and he's like, if you need a flu shot or something smaller, I'm your guy. But a full-on medical autopsy, we gotta take this guy back.
Yeah.
Also, that they only brought enough body bags, so if the crew something happens to them, they gotta figure out what they're wrapping them up in to get them home. I was like, dang, Joe Hill, that's dark.
Yeah, that's really dark. We do see a couple of other figures in the same sort of outfits watching them from the trees at one point as well.
Like prison outfits, aren't they?
Yeah, they look prison outfits. Yeah.
Well, they look like like jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so not necessarily prison, but
the bright orange shouts prison to me though.
There's also the joke here about how they all say how bad the coffee is that this guy made, but it turns out it was just mushroom tea. What sounds?
Don't do that to me.
That's the most disgusting. I mean, I don't even like coffee, but mushroom tea sounds like the most disgusting thing ever.
And the fact that you're gonna allow me to believe that it's coffee, and then I also love that. Like, how do you mess up?
I've had a mushroom tea before.
Yeah, I don't see. Do you like mushrooms though, Connor?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms.
They're weird.
Disgusting.
So, but yeah, so I thought that was a real good joke. And just, again, all the characters playing off of each other that I liked in the first issue, it's still here. Like, because they partner off, and some go back to the ship, and others are going to explore the island. And
yeah, the first thing I think I want to talk about, actually, because the representative from the company, it's one of these books where, other than obviously Carpenter, because it's Carpenter, right. I'm not going to remember the names that well, but the representative from the company, when they have the guy in the body bag, that they've brought back, he sort of stays back for a second and says something really ominous, where he says, he's like, "Hello, Peter, you don't look a day older than the photographs. We got your message. Sorry it took us so long to get back to you." So he was expecting some of this. He wasn't necessarily expecting exactly what was going to happen, but they had a specific message. So
yeah, okay, you don't look a day older than the photographs, which implies they were a while ago.
Yeah. Because I think because the others are assuming these aren't the people from the ship they're looking for, because they're too new looking. They're not
they're not from the 30 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, they'd be so decomposed by this point if they were those people.
Right. And then on top of that, they talk about how maybe the signal could have got done, and the art kind of lingers on the representative. I'm gonna call him the riser, right?
The polarizer, yeah. The Burke. He's the Burke.
You're getting a little too close to this.
It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Gonna overlook the body bag unzipping itself.
Oh, that's also in that. Well, I mean, that's going to become more relevant in a minute when we talk about how the fact that he's up stabbing people in the head with an axe.
Yeah, but I love that moment where because he's doing that kind of, he stands behind and kind of gives that speech.
Yeah,
then it just cuts out and you're just like, okay, why are we still here? And then it just unzips and you're like, oh shit.
And then Captain Carpenter and the other guy are sent down a drone to the ship wreckage, right? Because they want to see what it's like before they go down themselves. And a giant sea monster comes out and eats the damn thing.
Yep. I mean, which looks like a big version of one of those worms that we saw in the last issue.
Yeah.
The thing's really big compared to the. I mean, I don't know how big this subdrone is, but if they're ones like in real life, I mean, they're a pretty good size.
Yeah.
They're about 5 feet across. So if that's what this thing is, that thing's huge.
You can see it in context of the ship that it comes out of.
Yeah, it's giant, yeah. And then the English marine biologist and the other dude find like these weird crab things, and it's like She goes out to check the other one. She actually goes out into the water, and he's like, "This is crazy. You're going to end up getting like frostbite." And she finds
hypothermia. Yeah.
she finds like a pillar, like this like ceremonial pillar.
It's like a totem pole.
Yeah,
Almost like a totem pole, but done in almost a tiki style. It's not. I'll definitely say this: as much as I know, it's not endemic of that style. You know what I mean? It's definitely something else.
It is. It's got those worms going in and out of mouths. It's kind of that's what it's all seems to be made up of.
And oof. So also the other part of the local guy that came with them, he's like, oh, it's kind of my duty as being a First Nations person. Also, I get seasick, so I kind of just want to go back.
Yeah,
I thought that was a fun moment. That was earlier in the thing.
Yeah, it's after the poll that we get probably the best art in the book, I think, which is the I'll just call him the zombie for lack of a better term. Him breaking out the axe and like him like hitting like the generators or whatever.
Engineer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just all the sparks, the way the light hits them and the shadows, it's just so good. But it turns off at least some of the power, and we get him axing the engineer dude, and then going after and. Honestly, I said that was the best art. I'd forgotten about the page that's coming up with the ship on fire, because that's also absolutely gorgeous.
And it's this ironic cut as well, isn't it? Where it's I think we'll be safer here than on the boat.
The classic.
We'll be safer on the boat.
The classic Joss Whedon ironic cut of the jump to the opposite thing happening.
I can't stress this enough that we'd be a lot safer on the boat.
Cut to fire.
Shoot, that's a real thing.
And I love the coloring after this though, because on the boat and they're trying to put out the fire, with whatever measures they're taking, everything's like bathed in red, and it's that red alert light that you always get on ships when everything's going bad. I love just you immediately get what it's doing. It's so good. And then meanwhile, the other dudes who are exploring the island looking for any other bodies or survivors find this cave with all these numbers and drawings on it.
One number in particular, it's pi, because it starts outside, and you can see the first handful.
Oh wait, hold on. Did they actually? Were they sure it was pi, or did he just joke that it was pi?
I mean, it starts at 3.14.
3.14159.
Okay, I didn't catch that. I thought he was just joking that he thought it might be pi.
No, I think it is, because that's what those first digits. I mean, I can tell you the first three is like, okay, that's definitely pi.
Oh yeah,
it's a reasonable assumption that the rest is
3.14 is. But I didn't necessarily notice that. It wasn't until he was inside where he said something about this being like some sort of long strand of pi, and I thought, oh, he's just cracking a joke. That's maybe what it is. But fair enough. Yeah, it's pi then.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely, because this is the second instance of mathematical formula in this issue, because there's one earlier on.
The title page has one on the ship.
Yeah. And even actually the credits, they replaced some in each of their names. They replaced like one of the letters with a number. So Joe Hill, the I is a 1.
Yeah.
Right.
So then the end of the issue is this guy in the cave, and we just see all these hands coming out of a crevice behind him. So that's your sort of dark cliffhanger. So there's so much going on. Last issue it was so straightforward, and there was just one cliffhanger at the end. This issue has like 4 cliffhangers. There's like 4 different groups of people all encountering something different.
There's so much in the back half of this issue that it's just like, wow, how did you fit all this into like 20 odd pages?
Yeah. So those fire extinguisher grenades are real.
Yeah, I figured they were.
I did not know that.
Those are cool. Those must be real.
Yeah, right. So I thought.
Do they release? Is it like foam ones? I take it.
Yeah. So it's
they hit the air and expand into the foam.
Yeah,
and smother.
That's not that you should.
Cool.
Not that you should waste them, but I do think they'd be fun to play with.
yes, I do. But yeah, at the end of this, though, where there's all the carvings, it looks like the little bugs are coming out of that carving, or with all the pi numbers, and then, but behind one of the brothers, it's a bunch of gross undead hands reaching for him. So
yeah,
yikes.
Yep. So yeah, now we got fun. We got good fun with this issue, I think. I'm digging. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go this deep into all these things at once.
It felt like it's maybe a little bit of a criticism that it felt like such a sudden ramping up of like last issue was such this slow burn. Like we're just kind of dipping our toes in, we tease a little bit, and it felt like mostly relatively normal. And then this just went, screw it, here's everything at once.
So we'll see how it maps out. But I still loved it though. Like, I mean, the art looks great. The The characters are still fun to be around, even if I don't necessarily remember every character like super well from the first issue. It's always a problem with these sort of more original stories, where especially when you've got a big cast of characters. But I remembered the roles of the characters for the most part. So I was able to kind of like get through it that way. Plunge issue 2. Matt, what are you giving it?
Maybe that's a 9.5. I really enjoyed this book. I cannot wait to read it again, all in one go.
Yeah, I get you. Cara, what are you giving it?
See, I feel like I'm giving it really low after that. I'm giving it an 8.
Oh.
I would have given it an 8.5, I think, if it had just focused in a little bit more, but it just too much too soon. And it just ramped up too quickly. But it's still really good.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.5, which I think is half a point less than the first issue, which is to say still great. And maybe the pacing could have maybe not ramped up as quickly, but I mean, it's a minor quibble.
It's tough because I actually like everything that happens. It's just it is overwhelming in comparison to the first issue.
Yeah.